Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest.
We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it?
He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a clown.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
What up, YouTube? Peace and blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Talk to me. Happy Friday. Thank you for being here with us. We have a very, very controversial topic for you tonight. This video has gone viral very quick, very fast. As soon as I got my eyes on it, I could not wait. I wanted to do it solo, but I thought it would be better to have someone else on with this one. We didn't get to do the virtual open mic tonight, but I'm looking forward to next week to getting it back. So be on the lookout. I took time away from social media, so that's neither here nor there. Shout out regardless to my writers, my poets, my content creators. Salutes to everybody, man, who's been tapping in with me. Check out the community post. Shout out to Jason. If y'all want to check out his book, I left a link in case you want to, check that out. I got Sydney in the building. There was something else that I wanted to mention, but I kind of forgot. Now that I think about it, do me a solid real quick before we even get into the video or any of the conversation itself. Like, share, repost, let the people know we live. Some of you were with me earlier today when I was talking about Kendra G, the Ninja Turtle guy. It was a lot to unpack. We must have been on for about 2 hours. Trifling. That shit was just trifling. Absolutely trifling, man. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, it's up. Go check that one out. But I'm gonna bring Sydney up, let her introduce herself. Some of you are familiar with us, some of you are not. But if you are returning viewers, I thank you for being here. If you are new to the channel, thank you for spending time with us. Any support helps and goes a long way with getting the algorithm to put me in there with some of the people that call themselves greats and call themselves influencers, and we want to eliminate the non-transparent people. You know what I'm saying? So, Sydney, talk to me. Are you here?
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Friday, always a good thing.
Absolutely. Luckily for my husband, he had Friday off, so he's pretty stoked to have a 3-day weekend. So we're probably going to go on a drive after this. I was going to go to another poetry event after this, but it also got canceled. Maybe it's not the day for me to for me to read. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. It's funny how things kind of work themselves out. Because I was ready. I was ready to go, but I knew, like, I took off.
Mm-hmm.
So I said it the other day, if you aren't active on social media, if you're not constantly posting and constantly, like,
People forget you.
nobody sees you. Nobody, yeah, they forget you very quick. So, you know, one day it'll be a time where I don't have to constantly, like, be in the mud scratching and clawing for every single thing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, we are here, and this is going to be a very good one. And we have a parents in the building as well, which is going to make this a lot more interesting. The people that are watching, I want y'all to pay close attention to this, very close attention to this video. If you're a parent or you know step parents, stepfathers, this is going to particularly hit you in a way that it's not going to hit anybody else. Like I said, this video went viral very quick. So shout out to TikTok again. Y'all helped me out. You looked out for a brother. The drama never ceases to stop on that app, man. It never ceases to stop. And I was fortunate enough to find the exact clip. So I'm gonna bring it up here in a second. Is there anything that you want to say to the people before we get into the video?
Not that I can think of. Just thank you guys for being here. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Sydney. I'm also the Science Squid Poetry on All Poetry on Bluesky, and on Right Scene. I'm on quite a few pages, but the one I'm mostly active on is here and Bluesky, as well as All Poetry. I'm working on some books, so hopefully you'll see some of that very soon. I'm starting to put them together and edit them, so I'm past the stage of writing, which is awesome. I'm happy to finally be able to work with something rather than just all the stuff in my brain. So hopefully by the end of the year I'll have a book or two out, or possibly more. I'm ADHD, so I'm always doing something. But I'll let you guys watch the video before I go on another tangent.
You good. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this video, man. Like, repost, share it out. Let's just do it. I don't want you to miss it. But it's right here. I'm gonna go ahead and let it play through. 57 seconds or so. Hold up.
Scumbag.
Okay.
Just like you.
Okay.
I don't care. You can tell your father's going to go to jail too.
Okay.
Because I have video of him driving.
Okay.
Watch.
Okay.
Watch. You fucking bitch. That's what you are. A little bitch. Where's Daddy in Oklahoma? Where is he? Your father Jake wants nothing to do with your stupid ass. You fucking psychopath. I'm stupid? Look at yourself. Nobody wants you. Your own mother sent you to a hospital. Don't you realize that? I didn't want any kids. And I told your nutty mother that 8 years ago. Because I saw how she acted with you. That's why, you fucking ass. Daddy Dan's going to jail because I have video of him driving. Yeah. Remember the alcoholic who drove with you the fucking car? You dumb
Wow. I have actually seen this, but it still fails to it stuns me every time I watch this.
This is my first time seeing it. I caught it earlier this morning, and I said, "Yep, let me go ahead and clip this and save it."
Yeah,
because I know there's gonna go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the first time I saw it, I thought it was a joke. Like I thought he was just playing it up for the camera, and the kids were just going along with it. But as he started to rattle out the stuff about their dad and stuff, I was like, oh, he's not kidding. He's actually like just nuts.
I know there's a lot of different opinions and views on this. Obviously, I haven't responded or given my thoughts on it yet. Being as how you've seen it before, which makes this perfect. Your initial assessment of this video in general.
I was appalled at how the father was talking to his kids, the amount of insults and just disrespectful statements he said to his kids as well as towards their father, the things that the kids are aware of at that young age, the fact that he's talking about. It seemed from the video that their dad had gone to jail for drunk driving, and then on it, like the kid hitting him was honestly less shocking than how the dad was reacting. I questioned why the mother was just standing there letting it happen and I get videotaping it if you you have lawyers involved or whatever, like you want to catch the abuse on camera or something, but I can't comprehend why a mother would allow, unless it wasn't even the mother, like maybe it was an older child, but it seemed like the mother to me. The fact that she'd stand there and let all of that be said in front of her children, at her children, like he was calling him every insult, derogatory term in the book, it seemed like. And it also appeared to be during a party, which I can't even imagine how much that would dull the holidays to have your dad go off the rail like that, or stepdad. But yeah, I was amazed that the kid was just repeatedly hitting him with a broom, but I don't know, like just his overblown reaction was hard to agree with. It kind of reminded me of how my mom used to yell at me when I was a kid, but not that insulting. It was just loud. But yeah, that dad was way out of line. I don't know how you could act like that in front of your kid.
All right, so yeah, it's better that way. For starters, I don't agree with how he handled it. I think there's other ways to express your displeasure with the behavior of a child, how he's speaking to you. I wish there were more context behind the entire back and forth between them. Honestly, looking at that video, if I had to go off of puzzling a timeline, I would say there's a lengthy period or a history between all of them where this has been going on for extended period of time. Obviously, this didn't just happen in one day. A man in his position who decides to get involved with a woman who has children, even though he said in the video he didn't want to deal with that particular situation, it gives me the impression that there's a lot more here. Um, Absolutely has to be messy. Obviously, there's a lot of drama that ensued with this relationship. It doesn't seem very healthy at all. Um, and clearly, like if you're going to be a stepfather, I don't I don't know if I'm trying to play devil's advocate and be on both sides. So let me start here. If he didn't want children, she had children by him or outside of him, and he stayed, I can see him being spiteful and being petty and maybe vindictive because maybe he has some bad blood with her and the children's father that isn't being discussed. Um, Also, let's say for the flip side that he's an honorable guy, a stupid guy for even getting involved with someone with children in the first place. But let's just say, oh, he decided that he was going to step up and be with her because he cared about her. So he put on them shoes, he got in that role, and he really tried and went out of his way to be in their life. But because the lack of uh authority he has with the kids and maybe the lack of frame he has with the young lady that he is involved with, and she seems to clearly not have much respect for him. I could see him bubbling up beneath the surface, angry. Like, imagine you getting cussed out and played with, and you're not being treated with equal respect as the biological parent is. The mother isn't really holding her children accountable for what they're doing, saying to him. She's letting him, clearly, you're letting them assault this man. He's not doing anything to them. This is going on for months, for years, probably, depending on how long they've been together. And he doesn't say anything. He's trying to tell her, look, you need to get control of this. You don't want me to do anything in this area, even though we're together, but you're allowing your children to run wild and do whatever the hell they want. I can understand to an extent him snapping. I don't agree with how he did it, but I can understand why. And I mean, these are just like initial thoughts just kind of flowing through me right now. You know what I'm saying? I can also understand where you're coming from too. Is just like the mom to be sitting there recording it and videotaping it, and like your son is sitting here beating the hell out of him with a Swiffer, poking him, swinging it, just with, and the kid is looking back at her as he's doing it, as if she, you know, he's waiting for her to give him the nod to say stop doing it, or no, it's okay, just keep on going and keep on going. She's not doing nothing to say, just with the phone. I don't know. I mean, those are my initial thoughts though. Shit is weird.
It definitely had been, this is definitely not the first time he's done this before. The level of comfort he has in saying those things to his kid, he's definitely done this before. I really, really don't like that attitude that he has, that it makes it seem like because he is the stepfather, he feels like he's superior to the kids, to the other father, and he needs to make them feel it. It's almost like it's coming from a place of insecurity or something. Like he feels threatened by the fact that the kids have a different dad and stuff like that. I also think it's immensely cruel for him to be, especially at the teenager. At least he seemed like a teenager, like he was maybe 13-ish. But the older one that he was yelling at, saying like, you're not wanted, like people don't care about you, nobody loves you. He might be saying it in anger, and maybe he doesn't mean it, but that kid is going to feel that. That's going to sit with him for the rest of his life unless he does something about it first. It's incredibly, like, people don't realize how incredibly fragile kids are. Up until you're about 15, 16, and sometimes even as long as like 19 to early 20s. It's not until then that you realize that people aren't always truthful with you. Young children don't understand sarcasm. They don't understand jokes a lot of the time, especially like nuanced jokes. It's very hard for them to understand where the line of reality ends. And so if they hear those things, they're going to embody that as something that's true. And they're going to think that they're worthless and they're not loved. And especially if it's being screamed at them, that it's going to, like, I can still to this day hear moments when my mom lost her temper at me. Like, I hear it in her voice. I hear the words. I remember what I was doing. I remember where I was at. Like, I remember how I felt. They're going to remember this. And the fact that the mom isn't stepping in is also going to erode their trust of her, because either A, she's willingly filming this because she thinks it's going to get her views, and so she literally does not care about her kids, or she's so under his thumb, under his spell, whatever it is, that she's willing to stand by and allow that to happen, or she agrees with it. She's okay with them being treated like that. And in any of those circumstances, I can't really imagine the kids are going to be very happy with her in the future either, because they're going to be like, you literally let him do this to us. You stood by and watched us get like, that is abuse, in my opinion. You're letting us get abused and you're not doing anything. I also find it, the child with the broom, quite interesting, because it really exemplifies how poor behavior, mood control issues, and other types of problematic behaviors, how it gets passed down. I guarantee that dad has a history of throwing things at the wall or slamming doors or in some way exhibiting anger with the objects around him. And so that's what the kids are picking up on. And we see it in the young boy. He's in a moment of stress. His first response is to hit something. And so he's hitting his dad with the broom. And so it's a very clear sign that his behavior is rubbing off on them and is affecting them already. By high school, I guarantee they're going to start hating their parents. They're going to not want to be at home. They're going to be trying to be other places, be with their friends all the time. Or they're just going to be like locked up in their room 24/7, not want anything to do with their parents. So both of these people are setting up a very toxic environment for their kids. Not to mention their dad is already seems to have issues with alcohol. So I can't imagine that side stable either. I just feel really bad for them. They're definitely stuck in a situation that is not going to be good for their mental health in the long run.
This comes down to three parties: the biological mother and father, and the stepdad. Now, we don't know when he met her. We don't know if the stepfather was there before the biological father. We don't know if she was dealing with both of them at the same time. We don't know what the relationship between the biological father and mother was like. We don't know what type of environment them kids were in prior to the stepfather entering. We just, all we can do is kind of speculate. For me personally, to anyone that's watching, this is what you want to avoid. For the mom, what is it about you that would end up impregnated by an alcoholic? Why did that relationship end? Why couldn't you make it work? And how did it get to a point that you would have to insert a replacement father figure who clearly seems to be at his wit's end with everything that's going on? We don't know. For all we know, she's recording him in case something serious is going to happen. Maybe he's abusive, like abusive. And she's trying to protect and cover herself and the children. And I thought, I was thinking the exact same thing as well. But what if it's a little more to this, and there's just context that is missing from the entire story? And I don't know, it's just, why would you? I don't think every single parent has this problem, but it's like when you see things like this, it makes it hard to argue that a person should get involved in another situation that you didn't create yourself. I don't, all I can think of is like, bro, you could have started your own family. You could have met someone who never had the same type of situation going on, and then you wouldn't have to worry about this, that, and the third happening. You could have just started from scratch, met a woman, fell in love. Then you would be able to raise the you saw fit without having any kind of ripple effect of an outside entity getting involved in what you got going on. Instead, you decide to put yourself in a position to be with somebody who already has something going on mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You don't really know what type of time she's on. Clearly, the biological parent that is not present is being brought up in this whole thing. When he said, I got video of him driving under the influence, that didn't really sound like someone. I don't know. It didn't sound like someone who was trying to maliciously attack anyone or antagonize. It seemed like he's saying, look, you got all of this anger and all of this spite and hatred towards me, but look at what your biological parent has been doing. Look at what your dad is doing. He's driving under the influence. He clearly has a history of doing things that are dangerous. I really wish we had more context to this. I really, really do. Because it's like I don't want to really be on nobody's side here. I look at it overall and think to myself that all three of them were just irresponsible adults. All three of them completely irresponsible. As a man, you should know what type of woman you are getting involved with. You should have enough self-respect for yourself to know what type of individual you are sharing your soul with, your time, your resources, your frame, your career, your drive, your calling and purpose. You should already know these things. And when you're out of order and nothing makes sense, this is the type of environment that you create, man or woman. And I think all three of them were just absolutely irresponsible in their practices, dating and otherwise.
And one of the things you mentioned too, if he didn't want children, why, if those kids were with her, why would he choose to have children with her? And if he had married into it, why did he choose to date and then marry a woman that had kids? I've never understood that, when a guy wants to play both sides, or he wants the woman but he wants her to leave her kids behind because, well, I want you but I don't want kids. Like, no. That's a package deal. When you date someone and they have children, especially if the children are under 18, those are your kids too now. So as you want to marry the woman, you better invite those children into your life too, because I absolutely hate that sentiment where it's like, it was with a different man. I don't care about them. I don't want to love them. Like, they're not the man. They're separate entities. They're different human beings with hearts and different spirits. Like, they're not the same person. You're not like having to take care of the woman's ex-husband. You're taking care of individuals, like little kids. And if you don't want a part in that, you shouldn't be going after people that have children, because I've noticed in a lot of incidences where children are killed by their step parent, very, very often, if it wasn't a particular activity that's illegal, it was the resentment. It was the step parent feeling like that child was getting in the way of them being able to do more with the person that they married, or like that person, that child is taking all of their attention. It's sad because it is rooted in a behavior in the animal kingdom where very many animals do this. Lions do it, chimps do it, fish will do it, where they'll consume the young of the female that they want to breed with, because many different types of animals is, if they do not have children that they're caring for, they immediately go into estrus, into their cycle. And so animals do that, but it's sad and disheartening to think that humans still have the capacity for that type of behavior with all of our thinking and our supposed critical thinking skills. I wish people had more forethought into the choices that they make, because we're very clearly saying that there's a lot of people out there making very, very, very emotionally charged and not well thought out decisions. And when you do that, you hurt people, because if people can't face the mistake that they made, the second thing that they try to do is to remove the people that were associated with that mistake, because, oh, well, if they don't exist, then it's not a problem anymore. But obviously, it's not good to remove people from the world just because you don't like their existence. It's quite. I don't like it when I hear people that willingly get themselves into relationships with children involved and then want nothing to do with those children. I think it's incredibly selfish, and honestly, like, you should just let the lady go. If you don't want kids and she has kids, let her go. Put her out of your mind. Find somebody else. Like, let her have a man that's willing to work with the kids and love the kids as much as they deserve to be loved, which is a lot. What? No, we're not taking stuff from my desk. Go watch your show.
Yeah. That's an absolute fact. The irresponsible nature of human beings is incredible. I watch you cry and make excuses, and we have all of these tools available, these infrastructures where men literally invite you to come and counsel, these channels that invite you to come and partake of some knowledge, some gems. It might not necessarily fall into the wheelhouse of what you're used to, but you might want to hear it. And as much as we have these conversations, it doesn't really seem to get through to people on either side. Like, I can honestly say, and well, one of the main factors that's a part of anybody's talking point is that you, as a step parent, do not have any authority to discipline someone else's children. That is always one of the main issues that men have. You want me to go all in with you financially and all that, but when it comes to saying go to the corner, or maybe you believe biblically that you don't spare the rod from the child, and you want to apply your belief system within a certain system, but the opposing party does not agree to the terms and conditions, gives you pushback. Now you're facing a conundrum. You're supposed to be a partnership, but you're not working that way as a partnership. Now what do you do? What do you do when one party is saying, I'm the biological parent, you can give me everything that I ask for, provide everything that I ask for, however, I will not give you 100% of me, because quite frankly, you don't have the credentials or the certificates and the numbers behind you to give you that right or that power to exercise as you see fit. Now, if you were the biological parent, I would agree with you, but there's nothing I could say to you about it because you're biologically the parent. For whatever reason, this guy decided to get involved with somebody knowing what it was, and you stayed and you decided that you were going to carry on with whatever this was. So, as far as I'm concerned, you're just as big of a goofy as she is because you signed up for it. If you didn't want to deal with that, you should have left and walked away. You're an adult, just like she is. Have the conversation. You said you didn't this, you didn't that. Well, you still stayed. So now what? Now what? And because she's too scared to what? Make a choice, make a decision. As a woman with two impressionable kids, is it smart of me to have all this stuff going on? I have a parent that is an alcoholic, and I have a guy who, well, feels out of place, or maybe we're not seeing eye to eye on on our ideals. We're not here when it comes to what we want out of this relationship. Is it really smart of me as an adult to have all of this traffic going on in this household, knowing that these kids are watching everything that we're doing? Maybe I should be thinking a little bit more about the impact that my behavior and these grown men's behavior is going to have on them. And maybe I should go ahead and step back and reevaluate some stuff. Like every single adult in this particular case has equal right to this smoke. Hands down. Greg, salute, sir. It's just weird. It's absolutely weird. And I say this to ladies who are single looking to date or bring someone in. This video should be a prime example, or it should be studied. It should be studied as in one. This is why you have guys make the arguments that they make about dating single parents. Two, for the ladies who require and ask for a million different things, you are essentially saying, I'm not begging for a relationship or someone to come in, but I would love to have someone to come in. However, considering this woman and what she has going on, we don't know the history with the biological. Most dudes don't. There are guys who have successful marriages and relationships with single parents, but I like to believe the reason why it worked is because the moms set boundaries. The mom isn't a spiritual hoarder. She doesn't have a bunch of crap going on in her head, or like she's decluttered. She properly cleansed and got rid of anything that would restrict her from moving forward with a partner. So if a guy stepped in, oh, well, me and my relationship with my ex is good. The stepfather can have conversations with the biological father without issues. The biological father can have conversations with the mother and the stepfather without issue, without there being like this dick measuring contest, or the step parent worrying about if she wants to go back and sleep with the biological father anymore. Because we know that happens. I mean, you gave them a child. That's the most precious, most intimate piece of you that you could ever give someone. Why wouldn't someone worry about that? You know, there's a lot more that comes with single parenting and dating than it is with dating and you don't have no children. You're just starting from scratch. You have a better advantage and a better chance at meeting someone with less issue than you do with. But I mean, I digress. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but
That video will do that to you. It makes me think of I used to watch Super Nanny when I was a kid. Probably like middle school, high grade, that because of what I went through, that I was going to turn into those like crazy people. And so I would watch it. So I'd be like, all right, what do I not do? And one of the episodes popped in my head when you're talking, where you were saying like, you guys are the adults. There was a scene where the mother was saying like, oh, but my child, blah, 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 like making all these excuses of why she couldn't do what she needed to do for her child. And the super nanny just kept looking at her and saying, you are the adult. You are the adult. Like, it doesn't matter what your kid did or what your kid said or what your kid felt or whatever. You are the adult. You choose what they do and what they experience and what they are forced to be exposed to. And that mother that was just standing there just watching is giving her kids a message that the next time they're being attacked, their mother's not going to stand up for them. They're going to end up feeling like she doesn't care about them. She doesn't, if they are exposed to that, even if she isn't there, they're going to feel like that's okay, that it's normal for you to receive insults like that. And so they're like, this is why people who go through traumatic situations end up having a hard time crawling out of it, because you're literally ingraining into them that it's okay to be abused by people. It's okay to be called names, to be bullied, to be disenfranchised, to be pushed under and drowned because somebody else wants something more than you. And it's making children across the spectrum feel like they don't actually have anybody, that nobody cares about them because their parents exposed them to stuff like that. That's the life these kids are heading towards, unless someone else intervenes and helps boost them in the right direction. Again, because I don't know the parental situation, it's hard for me to fully put the blame on the mother. At least I do put quite a bit of the blame on the stepfather, because I recognize that behavior. I recognize the type of personalities that are attached to that type of behavior, and I just think that he's probably a narcissist. He's probably got some sort of rage issue, anger issue. I guarantee it's probably spilled over to other areas of his life. But there was no sense of remorse in that behavior. He didn't seem hesitant at all that he was acting that way. And I don't know if he knew that he was being filmed, but if he did know he was being filmed, he has no shame at all, because he was acting as if he truly believed in what he was doing. And I think that's quite sad. And as we've been saying, like, he made a poor choice in his life. He should not have if he knew that he did not want children, he should have never engaged with this woman. She should have never engaged with him. I knew from a young age that I wanted children. And so every person I ever went on a date with, it wasn't like the first thing I asked, but as we got closer, I would ask, like, do you want kids? And I had 2 relationships end because the 2 people didn't want kids. And I knew that that was important to me, and I was not going to give that up for another person. And so if you are single and you're looking to be with somebody and you know that you want children and somebody else says, no, I don't want kids, don't continue with them. Because I know a lot of women will hold on like, oh, he's a good guy, but maybe he'll change his mind. Like, maybe he just needs to be convinced. Maybe once I get pregnant, he'll feel differently and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't work. They're not going to change their minds. If they don't want a kid and then you have a kid, they might pretend they're okay with it, but they're still going to hate every moment of it. Maybe there are rare moments where they have the kid and they're just blown away and like they love the kid and they're like, oh my God, I never even thought that I'd want a kid. But like, if there's a person that's very staunchly against having children, it's not worth it, because those are such fundamental desires. You can't really convince someone to like it. It's not like pizza. Oh, you just have to try it. It's good. Like, just take a bite. Like, you can't, you're either all in or all out. You can't just sample. I mean, you can babysit to sample what having a kid is like, but you really can't just have a taste of parenthood and then know from that if it's the right thing for you. You really have to just either be in or all out. And it's sad because when they're half in, half out, or just like pretending to be in but are out, the kids can tell. The kids know if you actually care about them or not, whether they make it obvious or not. Kids can detect if you don't actually want to be around them, if you don't actually care for them, because it's the micro things that we do that make it apparent how we feel about them. It's people underestimate the little things. If you keep rejecting your child's desire to get a hug, they're going to learn that if they're upset, they can't turn to anybody. There's no one that's going to be willing to comfort them because it's not worth it. It's not worth trying, because there's just going to be no one for you. If you are constantly ignoring them and like, I'm on the computer 24 hours a day and I'm not giving the child any attention at all, they're going to learn that, oh, I can just be off by myself because no one wants to engage with me. Molly, oh my God. She put a roll of duct tape around her leg and she's mad that it won't go past her knee. If you are obviously abusive towards a child, they're going to embody it in their mind and in their physical body that is okay. And so they're far more likely as an adult to get in a relationship with someone else who is abusive, because that abusive parent has normalized that behavior. And so in a weird, twisted way, it makes them more comfortable being with people that are abusive, because it's what they grew up with. It's what they're comfortable with. And it's not something that people put a lot of thought into when they have their children. They don't realize, most people don't realize just how much of their behavior and their words and their patterns are being absorbed by their children. People just kind of think that kids are blank slate that one day wakes up when they're like 3 years old and then they have some skills and they're learning to read and stuff. But literally all the stuff that they've been developing under the surface before you can communicate with them at 3, 4 is mapping out the rest of their life. The amount of compassion and love that you give to them will determine how successful they're going to be. It's very well studied. There's research dating back generations, and there's a number of books that cover exactly what happens. It's called attachment theory. If the child is not attached to their parent, they're more likely to have a number of negative outcomes, including less life expectancy, less likely to graduate high school, less likely to go to college, less likely to have a job above minimum wage, less likely to own a house, have a family. There's a whole host of issues, more likely to be alcoholic and have addictions. So there's a lot of consequences that come from not showing your child an adequate amount of love and affection. And it's pretty apparent that's what's happening, at least in this situation, is that those children are not getting support, and that father obviously is not showing an ounce of compassion to those children.
You know what I like about this discussion in general, and just for the people, that's watching, because Greg, you gave a different perspective as well. What I like about this is we've only watched it but a couple of times, and there's so many different ways you can look at this, and we have so many different variations to it, but they're so valid that you can look at it one way or you can look at it another way and really say, well, this does make sense. It really does. And it ultimately, it still comes down to the three adults for me. I would also add, in addition, that last portion could be attributed to those three adults. That could have been exactly what happened to them. I mean, when you really think about it, we pick up what they put down. So perhaps what happened to that stepfather, the mom, and the biological father, maybe something similar happened with them. And all they're doing is repeating the cycle. I mean, there's a formula to everything, isn't it? I mean, if you're a mathematician, 2 + 2 is 4. For every action, a reaction. So I can't say that you're wrong, because again, I don't have enough to go on to say he's not a narcissist or not. But I can also say, shit, maybe if I was arguing for a side, which I'm not, I kind of just like on the fence with it. Her just not saying anything and just allowing it to happen was disturbing enough for me as it is. Like, how are you not saying nothing about that shit? I'd be looking at you sideways, and I'd be out the door, suitcase, bags, all that. I'm not about to sit here and deal with that. You mean to tell me this is what you're letting happen? What? So what else is going on? Notice the kid is beating on him. Notice all the smoke and all the energy is going towards him. Why? You have children who absolutely hate the stepfather. I didn't like nobody that was biologically not my parent. When I was a kid, my mom she dated different people. I couldn't stand none of them. I don't know you. And they didn't put in the effort to try to get to know me. They are children who reject the outsider, and they will literally make it hell for you. Not saying but it is a strong possibility. Um, let me read what Greg said real quick. I was going somewhere and then I lost my train of thought. In a weird way, I wish my mom had raised me to be harder, though. People tend to Irish dance over you when they think you're soft because of your demeanor. There's some things that the reason why you're supposed to have both parents is because one can only do but so much on their own. The other has a better chance at giving you more. Put them together, you have the perfect storm. You hear it all the time. A single home with a guy has a stronger chance at raising a child than a single mother trying to raise the same child. Not we're, we're not saying one is better than the other. We're going off of numbers and statistics. And statistically, men know how to bring them up better. And it's just for various reasons. You're basically giving the child a disadvantage either way, in my honest opinion, though. But this just seemed like a whole headache, a whole lot of time and years wasted. Remember what I was saying the other day about checking your account for how much time you or time currency you spent? This just seems like a lot of wasted time deposited in areas that is going to be fruitless. You recorded this and put it on TikTok. So now I'm asking the question. You put it on TikTok. What was the goal and the mission? What were you attempting to get across? Is this a cry for help? Is this escapism? Are you trying to avoid accountability? Are you trying to paint a narrative that isn't accurate? We only get a portion of what's happening, and we have to go off of what we're seeing. And based on everything that we've discussed, there's too many different ways to look at it. But of course, that's just the way I'm seeing it. It's just like innocent until proven guilty, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. Uh
If you want, I actually have a poem that I think would fit with this. I wrote it about the experience after dealing with my mom. So I thought it might fit. There's a couple actually I could do.
Go ahead, be my guest.
Okay.
By the way, before you read, somebody emailed me about the open mic. So
Mm-hmm.
they did it midstream. I really wish you would have reached out to me a little sooner, but I'm gonna talk to them after and try to schedule it for next week.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your thing though.
All right. This first poem is the one that I wrote about my experience with my mom. We went through a really rough period when I was in my preteens because my dad had a stroke and she did not handle that well at all. And she had a lot of anger come out, and she was definitely like relying on me a lot more than she should have because I was an only child. All of her family members are like on the East Coast. So she didn't really have anybody. So I got a lot of her wrath when she was in a stressed out mood. So this poem is about that. It's called Storm Chaser. I love natural disasters because I had to. I had to learn how to destabilize a tornado, outrun a tsunami, outthink a swarm. I had to contain earthquakes, cover up outbreaks, and predict where the lavas would flow. Being a permanent bell ringer, the harbinger of chaos, the start of every argument, the one responsible for your happiness. You received cracks from my breaking, but fought back with dams and bricks, screaming in rage like a god, bottling up my rivers with seams, building up my walls just for me, so that my anger now burst forth as a chaotic waterfall over those who do not deserve. How dare you make me wade through floods you wept over sins that were never mine to grieve.
I'm gonna have a little open spoken word for y'all to give y'all a little more context with the streaming, the discussion itself. Beautiful, elegant. Thank you for sharing that one. I know you have another one. Do you want to share it now, or how would you like to proceed? Okay.
If you wanted to say something, you can say
Right on,
something.
Greg.
It's up to you if you had something to say. But yeah.
No, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you the mic after you read, because we got a couple of new faces in here that didn't see the video. I'm gonna play the video one more time for them.
Okay.
I'll give our last thoughts on it. Pretty much that's it. But yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay. Let me find where this one. Pieces. Okay. I have this one, and then I'm gonna read a really short one right after I finish this one. But so this one is called Up to Here. This one I wrote about an argument, basically. Watching the steam on your cheek, blowing back each time that you breathe, with the invisible amorphous weight dragging you shoulder to waist, threatening to take you to a knee, begging for answers you seek. A heart attack deep in your chest, the desperate screams to get rest, pushing past limits, daring your blood to cool off for just a little bit longer, even as the eyes of your heart flood. You demand to be stronger, gripping invisible walls with emotional nubs, nails ripped out in angry holes that you dug. Will your friendly fingertips come back, or are you now programmed to attack? Reach for embraces, get lashes, turning face, returning to anoint with ashes. The spurious reconciliation begets retaliation, bristling, stressing, teeth on teeth caressing. Neurons know well that pain's not fair. Labored, leaking lungs, lacking air. Burst out in exhalation and exultation, aiding and abetting righteous humiliation. And then let me find the other one. Here. me see. I thought I had it up and it wasn't up. Okay.
Real quick, while she's looking for that, shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Much love. Much love. Shout outs to Greg. Shout outs to everybody that's watching. Thank you for reposting and sharing this out. I've been back and forth looking at my feed and everything like that. I thank you. It means a lot to me. You know who you are. I will turn it back over to you.
All right. This one I thought would be a nice one to end on. It's a short little piece I wrote to speak about how our emotions affect everything around us, even if we think that our behavior is just behind closed doors and people won't notice. It'll affect things around us. So this is called Peace of Mind. Chips on dishes, tears on clothes, dings on damaged doors are your reminders to yourself that even your belongings feel your pain. Be soft and be light. That was it.
I'm glad we got to give you some spoken word tonight. I was afraid we wasn't going to get to do no poetry, but we did get to squeeze some in there, and we had a nice discussion for y'all.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't get a chance. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For those of you who didn't get a chance to catch the video, what I'm going to do for y'all as we get ready to exit, I'm going to play this clip for you, right? And do me a solid. It's optional. Leave your comments on the stream after it gets uploaded to YouTube, or leave your comments on Twitter or wherever you are. Leave your comments under the video. What did you see? Did you agree with anything that we saw here, or did you see something that we didn't see? Because, like, again, perspective means everything, and right, especially if you know more about the story than we do, because this is all we got from it. So we're gonna close out with this video. And I will see you guys tomorrow doing a double. Like I said, I'm busy all weekend, so let me go ahead and bring this video up real quick so y'all get to see it for yourself.
And I'll see you guys Monday.
Yeah, we're gonna right on. You enjoy the rest of your evening. Let me see here. Where is it? All right, there it is.
Those scumbag.
Okay.
Just like you.
Okay.
I don't care. You can tell your father's gonna go to jail too.
Okay.
Because I have video of him driving.
Okay.
Watch.
Okay.
Watch. You little fucking bitch. That's what you are. A little bitch. Where's Daddy in Oklahoma? Where is he? Your father Jake wants nothing to do with your stupid ass. You fucking psychopath. I'm stupid? Look at yourself. Nobody wants you. Your own mother sent you to a hospital. Don't you realize that?
Your kid didn't want you.
I didn't want any kids. And I told your nutty mother that 8 years ago. Because I saw how she acted with you. That's why, you fucking ass.
Jordy, are you okay?
Daddy Dan's going to jail because I videoed him driving. Yeah. Remember the alcoholic who drove with you the fucking car? You dumb
Yeah. Now y'all can understand why this was an hour 14.
Yeah.
That being, hold on, let me. Got you covered. We about to get up out of here. Let me see. I want to make sure I don't miss no comments or anything like that. Yeah, in a nutshell, Greg. In a nutshell, it was a it was a very hostile environment for sure. But I digress. Thank y'all for coming out. Leave y'all comments, your thoughts on it in the comment section of the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Chill be outside of that. I just need you to do one thing for me. Y'all be easy.
Bye, guys.
Be up out of here.